All right, so hopefully you've had a chance to give this one a try. Um, in this example, we have Robert, and he bought 5 candy bars for his 5 children. Okay, and we're given the names of the candy bars, but that's kind of irrelevant. We have, 5 different kinds of candy bars and 5 different children. And in how many ways can Robert distribute the candy bars, one to each child? Okay, so the first part is just asking with no restrictions. So we have Allie, we have Brianna, we have Caden, we have Daniel, and we have Emily. So conveniently A, B, C, D, E, right? And so we just can kind of go through each child and how many choices do we have for this child? So if we give the first candy bar to Allie, she has 5 choices, right? And then Brianna, she has this. If Allie took one of the candy bars, she only has 4 candy bars to choose from next. And then Caden, okay, he's got 3 candy bars left to choose from. Daniel would have 2 left to choose from, and then Emily just gets whatever is left over, I guess. So we get 120 ways to choose that we could distribute those candy bars. All right, so let's take a look at part B. In part B, Daniel won't eat a 100 grand bar. Okay, so, but we can still just go through it the same way. We have the three children, A, B, C, D, and E. But now we have a restriction on Daniel. Okay, so we're going to work with him first. He won't eat 100 grand, so that leaves him 4 candy bars to choose from. Okay, so if we let him choose first, then we don't have to. It's not going to get complicated. If we let Allie choose first, she might choose the 100 grand, or she might choose 100 grand, or she might not choose the 100 grand, and then we don't know how many choices Daniel will be left with. So, but if we deal with it Daniel first, then we don't have to worry about it. All right, so after Daniel chooses his, then Allie would have 4 bars to choose from. Brianna would have 3, and Caden would have 2, and then finally Emily, poor Emily, she always gets the last choice. She'd have 1. And now when we multiply that out, we get 96 ways. Okay. All right, so part C. Okay, we got another restriction here. If Daniel won't eat 100 grand, and Allie only likes Snickers and Baby Ruth. All right, so we have to figure out which is the most restrictive. All right, so let's list the children out first: A, B, C, D, and E. Now, if we let Daniel choose first, it's not going to take the 100 grand, but he could choose the Snickers or Baby Ruth, which would then affect how many choices Allie has. So Allie, we should probably deal with Allie first, just because she's restricted to 3 candy bars that she'll take, right? There's only 3, whereas Daniel, he just wants to eat the 100 grand, but he's got 4 choices if we started with him. So let's start with Allie and let her choose first, so we don't run into that problem where we don't know how many candy bars we have left for Daniel when we come to him. All right, so she's going to choose either the Snickers or the Baby. Oh, wait, no, wait, no, she does. She's only going to choose the Snickers or the Baby Ruth. So she has 2 choices, right? And then now we'll go to Daniel. So we're going to work with this first, and then we're going to go to Daniel second. All right, and after Allie has chosen, then Daniel will have, he won't eat the 100 grand, and he can't take what Allie already chose. So he'll have 3 choices left. Okay. And then from there, the rest of the kids aren't picky. So we have 3 candy bars left for Brianna. And we have 2 candy bars left for Caden. And then, okay, poor Emily. Again, last choice. She gets whatever's left over. Okay, so when we multiply that out, we end up with 36 ways to distribute the candy bars. Okay. All right, so part D is a challenge. Hopefully you had a little bit of a chance to think about it. It's a little bit different. So in this case, Daniel won't eat the 100 grand, and Allie only likes Snickers or 100 grand. Okay, so it's sort of similar to the one before, except now, 100 grand is kind of present in both of the restrictions. Okay, so the problem is if we give Allie the first choice, right, she might take the Snickers, right, and then we don't know how many choices we have left for Daniel, right, because he won't eat the 100 grand, but he would eat the Snickers, and we don't know if Allie happened to choose the Snickers, then he would have what, 3 choices left. And if Allie doesn't take the Snickers, then he has 4 choices left. So we don't really know. So let's try. What if we let Allie choose first? Well, or sorry, let's say we let Daniel choose first. Okay, so we just talked about Allie was choosing first. If we let Daniel choose first, then he might take the Snickers, and then we don't know how many. We'd have either 1 or or 2 choices for Allie, depending on what Daniel chooses, because he could choose the Snickers or the 100 grand. So, oh no, he's not going to take the 100 grand, but he could choose the Snickers. So either way, whether we deal with Allie or Daniel first, it's going to affect the outcome for the other kid. It could possibly. So the way to deal with this is casework. So that's what I want to talk about next is casework. We can just split this into 2 cases. So let's do case 1. Let's say that Allie takes the Snickers, because she's only got 2 choices, right? So there's only 2 options. So that way I can break it into 2 cases. Either Allie takes the Snickers or Allie takes the 100 grand. Okay, so Allie takes the Snickers, and then so now we've got Allie taken care of, and we just need to distribute the candy bars to the other 4 children, A, B, C, D, and E. Okay. All right, so Allie took the Snickers. So let's deal with Daniel again, because he's still a restriction. So I'm going to deal with Daniel first in this case, because Daniel, he won't eat the 100 grand, and now he can't take the Snickers. So he has 3 choices left. Okay. And then we can the others aren't picky, so we've distributed 2 of the candy bars, so there's 3 choices left for Brianna, 2 for Kaden, and 1 for Emily. Okay, so that turns out to be 18 different choices in that case. In the other case, case 2, let's say that Allie takes the 100 grand. Okay. Now Again, we have to distribute the candy bars to the other children, and we're going to deal with Daniel first. So Allie took the 100 grand, and Daniel won't take the 100 grand, so that's good. So Daniel actually has 4 choices, right? Because Allie didn't take one of his choices away from him. All right, and then from there, now we've distributed 2 of the candy bars, and the options for Brianna, she has 3 options. Kaden has 2 options, and Emily has 1 option. Okay, so that gives us 24 ways. Okay, so now we've got 2 different cases, and now what we want to do is just add those cases together to get the total number of ways that we could distribute these candy bars. So we're just going to add 18 plus 24, which gives us 42 ways to distribute the candy bars. All right. That's probably the most complicated it's going to get. It's good to understand casework, but yeah, that's probably the most complicated problem you're going to see in this section. All right, I'll meet you for the next video.